I was handsome before, but now with my braces off, I'm gorgeous.
It's Ned's Declassified Season 3, and everything is new. It might as well be called News Declassified. Thank God I practiced that, because originally it was Nudes Declassified, and I'm just glad I didn't say that here. Oh, jeez. We jump into a new grade, Episode 1, Part 1. And it's just all the excitement for the final year of middle school. You guys remember what that was like, right? A little superiority complex, a little too much ego. Obviously, the characters are pretty humble, so they don't go that far. But it is funny how dramatically changed they are because of all the new circumstances and this final year. As you know, things get very intense. Most shallow thing of the year, though, we notice that Cookie has a crush on Lisa Zemo now that she is pretty. She wasn't in the other seasons, so now that she's all cleaned up, I guess, Cookie likes her. Very shallow, Cookie. We left off with our main characters in 7th grade for a majority of the first 2 seasons, so this is a new refresher. One of the new teachers we have is the I teacher, which is basically a parody of the iMac, and it's just this teacher that is remote. Completely COVID related, of course. It's so funny, Ned's Declassified predicted this work from home thing way earlier than it happened. And everybody has a new grade resolution, which is kind of cute. It's kind of like a New Year's resolution, but for the grade. Definitely a very positive spin on what you're supposed to do in school. For me, I just wanted to get in and out. I don't even remember actually acknowledging a new grade.
You didn't like me the first day last year.
Really?
Good to see you again. Welcome, I'm Mr. Wright.
I don't like you.
Cookies is to get to know the new Lisa, of course. Moses is to change her reputation to come across as nicer because people have thought she was intense in the past. And Ned's is to be tougher, which is really funny because this entire episode is just him accidentally beating up Loomer at every turn, making him look like literally the worst person ever. I kind of like this recurring bit, though.
That's why I'm going to recommend you see me 3 times a day so we can deal with these issues. And also because I have no one else to talk to. Oh, you're right.
I remember this promo, like, way too well when Ned's Declassified Season 3 was coming out. They're like, new season, final year. And it was a lot of that. And we had, like, Ned with piercings on his face. I think that's funny, seeing themselves, like, trying to figure out who they really are in their final year.
Honestly, Mr. Lowe, I'm nice.
I'm sensing a lot of hostility, Ned.
Gordy's like barely involved in the plot, but he wants Cookie to hack into the school system to download movies from the internet and be able to slack off more this year, which is actually so funny. I'm not sure if you guys have heard. Gordy is pretty much a main character, but also the janitor. Kind of crazy he weaves his way into the kids' lives, but it's kind of funny. It's not like creepy or like anything that is problematic. But he does tend to be a bad influence on them. I'm not sure if you've heard the internet rumor, or it's actually probably confirmed. Darren Norris, the actor who plays Gordy, has confirmed it. But essentially, Gordy is rich, and he doesn't have to have this job, so he doesn't take it super seriously, which is why he always pawns off his responsibilities to, quote-unquote, the night guy, every time he's told to do something. Yeah, so he is just this constant guy who's not really worried about losing his job and continuously entering the kids' lives. Mose has trouble not coming across as aggressive when she gets assigned a 5-page essay from the new I teacher. And it's fun watching Moze try to prove that she's actually a really polite person when she knows that's not true. And the teacher actually pushes her to do so, which is kind of crazy. Of course, Ned cares about impressing Susie, which will never stop. And it gets worse because obviously him beating up Loomer makes him seem like a jerk even more. And he just tries to be nicer and nicer, and it gets worse. Now Ned is like one of the most hated people in school because everybody's afraid of him. So he needs Loomer's help to actually fix this plan.
Beat me up before class gets out.
The resolve with Moze and I teacher is funny because the new teacher is like, oh, I made a resolution not to be tough on my kids, and then ends up doing the same thing to Moze. So it's kind of like sweet to just see that these people had their goals but are open to the fact that they've like misread them, and the fact that it's a teacher and a student like shows that it's a universal issue when somebody sets out a goal. It's just It's a really sweet moment. Oh my gosh. And of course, Gordy ends up getting caught by Krubs, and then the two have to actually scheme to get Krubs' password back, having a fake cutout on a webcam, which is so funny. This is like 100% before time.
I have a cold. Now, Krubs, tell me, what is your network password?
Flamingo.
Moze ends up coming through clutch and actually helps Ned save his reputation by making it look like Loomer beat up Ned, and therefore everybody's issues are solved. Ned, Moze, and Cookie are not scared of 8th grade anymore, and they find out that Mr. Sweeney is going to be their science teacher for a 3rd year in a row, which is actually kind of insane. Yeah, the tips in this are pretty interesting. It's make new grade resolutions, of course, the plot of the episode. New grades are better with friends. I don't know if that's a super helpful one. Stick with your new grade resolutions. Sure. And don't judge a new teacher by their first day. Oof, that's actually a pretty relevant one. Oh my god. The next episode is a lot more chill. It's called Dodgeball, and it's basically a stormy day, so they have to have gym inside, something that we all dealt with growing up. Ugh, I loved it so much better when it rained and we did not have to go outside. I hated doing the mile. But yeah, Coach Durga makes Ned the captain of the team and pretty much puts him in a scary spot because Loomer and his crew always attack people at Dodgeball. The bullies are superior in this moment. Everybody tries to get Moze on their side because she's like one of the best sports players, but she says she will not because of some unknown reason, which we'll probably find out later.
That's when it all went wrong.
We learn that she actually hit Coconut in the head and felt super bad about it, so she vowed to never play again, which is actually kind of sweet. So Ned and Cookie think they're pretty much gonna die without Moze, and Moze is like pretty okay with that until she learns that Coconut Head actually wasn't hurt by that injury, and she is never hurt him. So she has the confidence to come out, defend everybody, and actually win the game. Yay!
What are you waiting for? Finish him. He's weak and must be eliminated.
Coach Durga tells Moze to use the Force, and they keep using this reference, and it's Star Wars, which is kind of crazy. I think it's so funny. Moze ends up throwing it, misses, and then it bounces off and hits 3 players. Oh my gosh.
You missed.
Now, I've never seen more Dragon Ball Z type stuff in a kid's show until I saw this moment. Special shout out to the training video Coach Durgas made. I don't know why. That's just such a funny bit.
Is eliminated.
It'd be black and white. It's 2006. And then by the end, the sun comes back out, which is so funny. Then we got the tips for this one. It's stay elusive and stay in the game. Kind of vague, okay? Feed the balls to your best throwers. That is a good relevant tip. Barely has to do with school, but fine. And then utilize the lob and drill attack, which is an attack they use in the gym. Funny that they actually like give full-on gym tips. I think that's actually pretty helpful. I always find it interesting that they're able to go through like multiple subjects in a school's curriculum and then give tips on it. Like, that's so interesting to me. I forgot they did that. Then we got episode 2, part 1, which is reading, which, by the way, I did not like to do in high school. Getting assigned to read made it so much not as fun as you would think. Moze, of course, is the only character into the idea of having to read books, and of course, Ned doesn't like to, so this kind of feels relevant to me.
Spanish books, math books.
Moze ends up starting a book club, and Cookie wants to be involved, but he's not in it for the reading, so she's like, you cannot be a part of it. But then all the girls end up forming a gossip group instead anyway. Oh my gosh, not fair, Moze. So yeah, so they talk about it like Fight Club, where they're like, okay, we can't talk about this anywhere else. Meanwhile, Ned is trying to not read a book and do an entire report, until he learns that Gordy actually wrote a book, so he does get like a brief summary and is able to know exactly what the book's about.
They thought he was cleaning up, but he was really cleaning them out.
Turns out that iTeacher actually read it, so Ned is caught. He just keeps getting caught, and that's where I feel relevant to Ned. Oh my gosh, Cookie does drag in this episode again. I wonder how many times this happened.
And he's just here to meet girls.
Hey, lady.
Oh, the green eggs and ham reference is awesome. I love Dr. Seuss. And yeah, of course, book club comes to bite everybody in the butt because, you know, it's not what Moze wants it to be. Cookie keeps trying to break into it without an explanation, and Ned actually steals the concept of the book from this club. But then it turns out when he's presenting it, it's all the information Missy was gossiping about. So it wasn't even the actual book. It was just Ned getting caught with gossip. Oh well.
You're going out with Mike?
But Mike's best friend Paul is also dating Bridget and Lena.
Stop!
Interesting though, because we got some good tips on reading, which I could have used. Like, online quick notes can be very helpful. I agree. What if it said online ChatGPT could be helpful? That would be insane. Oh, can you imagine going to school again, but having ChatGPT? What in the world are we living in? Oh, and then the other tip is start a book club. Oh, okay, guys, thanks. Real original. Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants makes a reference in this. We get Jane Eyre. Oh my god, there's so many, like, real books that they actually use. I wonder if they had to get the permission to use them. Then in the second part, we have principals. So an episode all about principals. Kind of cool. Principal Pal is retiring. We didn't really learn about him until the second season, but it's good to know. Krubbs is excited to take his place, but he ends up purposely making sure nobody else gets a chance to interview for the job.
Superintendent Proud! Hello!
So he'll be principal. This upsets Ned, Cookie, and Moze, who actually team up and try to stop him from getting his job, which is kind of cool that, like, they're willing to come together. I feel like most of the plots are literally separate until they actually have to come together. So they end up getting Dr. Lowe to actually fight and be one of the candidates for principal, and of course Krubbs is not happy with this and threatens to take him down, which is bullying. I can't believe that the teacher is, like, literally a bully. So real, though, when you think about it.
You don't have what it takes. Or deodorant.
Meanwhile, it's Gordy's job to make sure that Principal Pal doesn't give up his job or retire, so that way Krubbs will never be principal. Kinda cool. I don't remember seeing a lot of scenes with Gordy and Moze teaming up, but this is nice seeing them work together.
Don't you miss all these happy, sweet faces?
A lot of politics going on in here. I like that the kids get involved in what's going on in the school curriculum. Like, that's kind of crazy. At the end of the day, Moze's mentor, Mr. Wright, comes in clutch, and he ends up bringing out his doctorate from Harvard, and he applies for the job. He doesn't want to do it at first until Krubbs is like, you can't do it. And then he's like, actually, I think I am going to do it. And then the interview goes well, and yeah, he ends up getting the job, which is kind of sad to see Principal Pal go, but actually Mr. Wright is the perfect candidate. In this episode, the tips are get to know your principal, which actually is a pretty good tip. I wonder if, like, that actually would apply in real life. And then the other one is see the principal for teacher, student, and school problems. Okay, that's just a standard fact. At this point, they're just trying to put out any tip. All around, good idea. I like that the worst principal is taken down for all of this. Like, Krubbs does not deserve this position at all. We gotta talk about Principal Pal, though. This guy is like Papa Nichols from Drake and Josh on steroids. Like,
I captured the enemy, and I'm bringing him back to base.
the things they have this man do on Ned's Declassified is just insane to me. We do have to note there's a very important moment between Ned and Moze in the reading episode where Moze falls on top of Ned and they end up having a conversation there. Not normal. If I saw two kids on top of each other on the floor, I would not think they were talking. What the heck, guys?
I'm the 73rd most popular kid in school.
The next episode is popularity, and this one is very, very relevant. It kind of reminds me of, like, Mean Girls, but in a really positive way. Obviously, popularity has a big impact on high school life. It's one of the most overdone tropes I feel like I've seen anywhere ever. I'm gonna spoil the tip for you super early in this. It's just, don't be popular, it's not worth it. Oh, okay, fair enough, writers of this show, thanks. So in this episode, there is a list of people in order of popularity. There's like a top 10, and then there's like everything past 100. And it's really interesting because each of the main characters are placed on a completely different spot. Moze is in the top 10, which she does not like, and actually it's kind of resentful of it. She doesn't want to be around the popular kids. She doesn't like that just because she's quoted popular means she has to be with a group of people. Fair enough. Very reasonable. Ned isn't that far down the list. I just know he's not as far down as Cookie. Cookie is like one of the last ones with the band geeks and everything, so obviously it matters to him to figure out who wrote this list. That's kind of his plot line here, is he finds out that it's this guy named Albert, which, by the way, we have so many other extras. You're telling me it has to be this guy? Okay, random. But yeah, so Cookie is trying to pretty much double down and find proof that this is the guy who wrote the list. He does. He gets him to confess, and obviously he doesn't want anybody to know, so they don't bug him to be up or down on the list. Fair enough. Ned is, like, super determined to get into the top 10, because with his, like, placement, he's worried he'll never be able to be with Susie. Susie and Missy are some of the most prominent people on the top 10, and it's interesting, because Missy actually promises Ned that, hey, I can help you get higher on this list and get popular again. And then also says that she could help him attract Susie. And then she's like, Susie likes piercing, Susie likes this. And then later we find out that she's just tricking him.
Ned doesn't like you anymore, and he's totally into me. And body jewelry.
But you know I like Ned.
You had your chance to date Ned. In fact, you had 100 chances, and you blew all of them. So bye.
Knows that Susie likes him back and is just telling him to do all this stuff that she doesn't like in order to draw him away. And Missy's ultimate goal is to date Ned again, which is kind of crazy that that's like always her goal. Like, you're not in school for any other reason. Come on. The episode ends in a pretty sweet plot twist where Susie is like, okay, if he's not popular, I'm not going to be popular either. More so through putting on all these rings and thinking that Ned wants that. And it's cool because they come together in a way that, like, they're both, like, trying to impress each other. Kind of feels a little shallow that they were both trying to act like different people to get each other, but hey, we're not gonna get reading into that too much. And they officially go out, which I completely forgot that this got, like, really official. Like, they are officially together now. Oh my gosh, Ned's dream has finally just come true, and this adds such a weird dynamic to the rest of the series.
My formula considers future popularity potential. Today's weenies are tomorrow's rock stars.
And to think an episode about popularity would lead to this. Oh, very interesting. I always forget the continuity of all this stuff because of how much structure Ned's Declassified has. It almost is like a detriment to it, because I can't tell what's actually happening with the characters because it's all formatted based around the school subjects or something. But yeah, I don't foresee anything going wrong. You know, Susie's gonna have to get used to these friends that end up going on top of each other in the hallway and talking. I hope she gets used to that. This does remind me a lot of the promos I saw for this season, because clearly things change a lot in the third season. So it's cool to have, like, everybody on the same page. Then in the next episode, it's about stress. Okay, stressing out. That's a cool idea for an episode. You love the mental health stuff. So do I. This episode is about Evelyn Kwong and Cookie going neck and neck in the top 20 grade markers, finding out who the smartest kid is, which is so funny because, you know, in the last episode, Cookie was at the bottom of the list, and for this, he's at the top of the list. So now, suddenly, these guys are competing with one another. Meanwhile, Susie and Ned are dating, and Susie doesn't want to talk to him. So Ned's, like, worried they're gonna break up already.
I got rid of him. I'll be right there.
Meanwhile, this eye teacher is really getting closer to Moze and being like, hey, we're a lot alike. And it really makes Moze unhappy, which is so funny to think about.
I might be overscheduled. I do too much stuff. I teacher says we're alike. What am I gonna do?
Breathe.
I totally remember projecting onto teachers being like, oh, do you think I'm gonna end up like that as an adult? And not in a negative way, but sometimes positive. So Cookie gets so hung up on this competition with Evelyn that he actually turns down pizza with Lisa. Oh my gosh. So they're both trying to write this long extra credit essay to compete with one another, and Principal Wright adds to Cookie's plate by being like, if you get the highest GPA, we're actually going to get the highest score for the town. And it's like, whoa, I guess there is a lot of pressure.
Me and Lisa are getting a slice of pizza. Since you went all crazy with her grades, asked her, and she said yes. Now she would come along and all, but no.
Oh.
Gordy introduces this idea of stress vision, which is super relevant. It's like he's not able to be unbiased because he's under stress, which is a very real thing. So he advises him not to talk to Susie quite yet. In the end, Ned's whole plotline is resolved when he finds out that he's just that Susie's just been on the phone with her dad saying she loves and misses him, and he thought she was talking to a more handsome guy, which maybe he was. I don't know. Which maybe she was. I don't know. Her dad could be an 8 out of 10. Who knows? So, blatant misunderstanding. Okay, fun end to an episode. Cookie finally is relieved of the pressure when he gets the scores he wanted, and the principal is like, you know, you're a lot like me. And we get another Moze situation where Cookie is self-conscious about that, because Principal Wright is like, I wish I made more friends and actually did other things besides just study so hard. And that is the truest lesson I've ever learned in Ned's Declassified. Like, don't get too into school, because there is a bit of a balancing act that's really important. So yeah, a lot of stress for all the main characters, and the way it makes them act is insane.
I'm gonna take a nap.
I'm a little freaked out.
I don't know if you noticed, but this entire stressed out episode does not have any tip note on screen, which is kind of crazy because it seems like the most natural to have that happen, but okay, whatever. The next episode is called Dismissal, and I really like this one. To me, it's most nostalgic because it was on the DVD for the big field trip movie event, which is so funny. Of course, they had to have an episode from the season. And this one does a really clever plot device of having a countdown for the 11 minutes of the episode be the complete episode itself. It reminds me of actually getting ready for the bus when you leave middle school. Like, you do only have, like, what, 15 minutes to get from one place to the other. And of course, all the main characters are struggling with different objectives at this last 10 minutes.
Ah, cookie time. A time to wind down and reflect. Math was hard today.
Ned is worried about his commitment with Susie, which is kind of crazy because he's been pawning after her for like literally forever, and she moves into his locker and he's like nervous about it. So in this 10 minutes, he's essentially trying to communicate with Susie. Meanwhile, Moze has to go to the bathroom before she gets on the bus, which is way too realistic. If anything, I would question if this was even worthy of a episode plot point. I don't know. And yeah, it's just all about beating that line, making sure you can get to the bathroom before you can get to the bus. It's cool. Her response to this, though, is really creative. She inevitably goes to the drama club and finally gets into boys' clothes and sneaks into the boys' bathroom, which is kind of a good idea when you think about it. Until Cookie recognizes her, then it's awkward.
Moze?
Ned gets a lot of girl advice from Gordy, of course, the person he's the most like. It's so funny to see them act together all the time. Like, what a weird mentorship. Cookie's usually always early, but in this one particular instance, I guess he is finding out there's a pop quiz the next day, so he has to run in and find his science book. Something that would be very stressful if you had to do it before you get on the bus. Oh my gosh, have you guys ever missed the bus? Especially leaving school, that must be crazy. The countdown really does add to the stress of the episode. It kind of reminds me of that Malcolm in the Middle bowling episode, where it's famous for like just breaking the format of like what it was used to. Ned's Declassified does such a good job here at that. They really capture the anxiety that it must take in order for this to happen. Cookie is pretty mistreated in this part, though, because literally right when he's about to get back onto the bus, Evelyn corners him and kisses him. Oh my gosh, another major plot point.
He's off!
You kissed me!
They're really good at just like throwing in major things to happen. So yeah, Cookie leaves with a shocked face. Ned finally gets to the bus on time, and so does Moze. So it's kind of like a happy ending. The tip is make a pit stop before the big ride, which, what big ride? Why aren't you specific that it's a bus ride? I don't know. That part doesn't seem necessary here. All around, like a really creative episode. And I actually covered this next one really recently. This episode's called The School Play, and of course, every show's gotta do a drama club episode. Jimmy Neutron did it, Wizards of Waverly Place, Hannah Montana. Actually, I'm not even gonna get into all the ones that did it. The point is, drama club is a big part of the high school experience, whether you're in it or you just see a couple shows. Like, I don't know, I was a big drama kid, so of course I would say that. They're doing Romeo and Juliet, which obviously the most unique show ever, and of course, Susie is going to be Juliet. Ned's really nervous because they got Corbin Bleu to be Romeo, which I would be too. If you got somebody from off-Broadway to be in one episode of a show, of course he's gonna steer your girl.
Be jealous.
be very jealous.
So this whole episode is like him trying to sabotage Corbin Bleu, and it's actually really funny how often like he's close to succeeding. Corbin Bleu is as rude and disrespectful as you expect him to be. It's so funny though, because of course he's never been on this show before. Like, you know the extras, and he is not one of them. So like, how are you gonna convince me this is real? And then Moze, of course, the stage manager. Oh my gosh, what a role for her to be on the crew. She's so good at like being bossy, so of course this like makes sense. She's the only one getting in Ned's way of like making his plan work, which I love it when the friends are pit against each other. Definitely makes for some really awesome conflict to go down.
Time for the kissing scene?
Not yet. Go.
And just for the record, the things that Ned does to this guy is borderline illegal. Thank God he's like under the age of 18, or he would go to prison for some of these hijinks. Like, look at all this. I can't believe Ned is trying to get away with this.
Spence, I'm a big-time Hollywood movie producer from Hollywood. I like your stuff, kid. You're gonna be big, big, big!
In the end, they get Gordy to dress up like a film Hollywood producer and actually get him to not be a part of the play. And it works. Oh my gosh, what a rude way to leave the show. The whole thing goes haywire with all of them trying to like get their goals to a point where like they even injure Susie, and next thing you know, Cookie and Ned are the only people that have to fill in for this role to work, and oh my god, it's so funny seeing them have to act next to each other.
You, kiss I shall place.
Oh, Romeo!
The tips in this episode are just as fun. They're like acting, the play's the place to start. And then don't act, work behind the scenes. Okay, I think if that's all we could possibly muster up out of this drama club experience, then fine. That's some pretty decent tips, especially if you've never been in drama. In the end, they get the comeuppance, and yeah, that's kind of how the episode ends. At least it is fair for everybody. Okay, so now we got the Halloween episode. So Moze says there's never a Halloween party at Polk because nobody wants to organize it. And since there's no party, nobody really wants to dress up. But Cookie loves Halloween, so he's the only one in costume.
The candy, the costumes, the candy.
Principal Pal actually puts the three of them in charge of organizing a Halloween party for the school. Cookie has a plan to go trick-or-treating, but Ned says they're not going, which would actually break my heart. I love Halloween. He says there's only 3 phases of Halloween. It's trick-or-treating, fun costumes, mischief night, scarier costumes, and Halloween parties. The rest of the school finds out that the Halloween party is going to come, and they get excited. Ned and Moze ask for help from Gordy and Krubs, which is such a funny duo. Like, to imagine these two authorities working together on something so spooky, that's actually really funny.
Okay, I'm in.
Me too, but I'm not cleaning up any doo-doos in the pants.
So they make like a haunted hallway with a graveyard and night terrors.
Oh, that is one great sign.
Ned, Moze, and Cookie decorate the gym for the party and find costumes. Ned's a vampire, Moze is a ghost, and Cookie is a werewolfy, okay? Gordy and Krubs work on the haunted hallway while Principal Pal tries to try it out. And then it turns out he's allergic to strobe lights and dies.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh my god. So they just assume that they've killed somebody, and since their phones are dead, they can't help him. Oh my gosh. So Krubs tells Ned and Moze and Cookie to go to class while he takes care of Pal and calls the paramedics. But the two of them put Pal on a cart and wheel him to the office. He falls down the stairs, which is insane. Why is nobody actually taking care of this principal? And he falls into the science class. Then they have to distract Sweeney so they could drag Pal out of the class.
Oh, we're just upset we can't see the wonderful things you wrote on the board.
They have trouble carrying him, and he falls. Oh my gosh, there's just so much going on. This poor old man. Like, he's been, like, slightly going crazy in general, so, like, to have him actually die on the school floors is a little dark for my taste. They convince the school that the Pal is alive by walking him into his office, which becomes, like, more of, like, a Weekend at Bernie type thing. And yeah, it does end super positive when we learn that he's just waking up and he was just tricking the kids all along. Oh my gosh, you could have told Gordy and Krubs though. Imagine these employees thought they actually killed their boss.
But you had no heartbeat.
Chest plate.
You had no pulse.
I have no pulse.
Oh.
The party ends up going off perfectly, and the haunted house scares Loomer and the groanies. So, okay, kind of good way to end it. The tips are get involved, throw a scary party, have fun and make your own haunted hallway, and everyone can be a Phase 1 Halloweenie. So, like, you don't have to get super into it, which I disagree with. But hey, I am not unbiased in this. They really committed to the Halloween bit this year because the second episode is called Guide to Vampires, Ghosts, Werewolves, and Zombies, and it's essentially like an alternate universe where it's James Polk middle ghoul instead of school, and Ned is a vampire struggling to turn into a bat, so he could pass the BATs. Oh my gosh, what a pun. And Sweeney reminds him that he has to change into a bat in order to pass the exam. And then he'll have to go to Summer Ghoul, which, oh my god, all the puns are ridiculous. Moze is a ghost who tells Cookie that Loomerstein is looking for him, so Loomer is Frankenstein. It's just essentially every character gets assigned a really cool Halloween character. And of course, Gordy has to catch the vampire weasel, which you guys are getting lazy. You're just putting the word vampire in front of weasel. Like, what is that? Moze tells Cookie that he's a werewolf and shouldn't be scared, so yeah, like, why would they actually have a problem? Since there's no full moon, he can't be a werewolf or stand up for himself to Loomerstein, so it becomes a big issue. Ned and Gordy devise a plan to steal Carl from Krub's office so Ned could pretend to transform during his exam. Okay, nice cheat, nice cheat. Obviously, Carl escapes, and Gordy just suggests Ned just tries studying. Doesn't work. Moze asks Lisa if she wants to be a ghost, and all she would have to do is die.
I don't know. What do I have to do? Die. I think I'll pass. How about Susie? I think you guys would be great friends.
So Moze ends up trying to kill Susie, which is really dark considering the love triangle going on. So this entire episode, Moze is trying to turn Susie into a ghost so she could have a friend, and it's kind of depressing when you think about it. Ned ends up transforming into a bat at study hall, but still doesn't know how to fly. Moze's attempts to kill Susie just fall flat, and Cookie's attempts to change into a werewolf just don't work without the full moon.
I'm a dead wolf, man.
In the end, Krubs uses a voodoo doll of Ned to cause him pain, which I find super crazy. And then literally none of this stuff gets resolved. So just as Loomerstein approaches Cookie, Ned moons him, which is insane. They did this on a kid's TV show. And Cookie ends up turning into a werewolf that way. Ew, what a weird resolution. Yeah, Gordy has a plan to blow up the weasel.
Adios, vampire weasel!
By the way, how much dynamite did you use?
Everything is unhinged in this episode, and they were not afraid to take Halloween to the next level.
Well, I guess TNT really does solve everything.
We end up with Ned waking up, only to find out that this was a dream he had at the party from the episode before, so none of it was real. And the tips are kind of irrelevant too, like zombie plus death equals new ghost friend. Don't know how that's going to apply to my life. A friend's moon is as good as the real thing. Also really uncomfortable. I don't agree with that at all. And then too much candy can give you nightmares. Yeah, that just breaks my heart because it's unfortunately true from first-hand experiences. Oh well. I didn't realize that the second half of this episode really does make a lot of references to the pilot, like Moze wanting to have a new friend, Gordy wanting to catch the weasel, and Ned wanting to pass one of Sweeney's tests. Like, I don't know, that's just a really generic, but at the same time, that is what Ned's is, you know? They still act like the principal is the principal, like Principal Pal didn't retire in the principal's episode. Don't know how to go about that. And I think it's safe to say that these second Halloween iteration is off canon. There's no way this counts toward everything. So the next episode we have is called Art Class, and this is funny because it takes such a pretentious approach.
That's a naked lady. What? No, it's not. It's a bunch of squiggly lines.
Look at the naked lady!
So Ned makes a drawing that he claims to be a bunch of squiggly lines, but everybody else is like, dude, this is a naked lady. And girls just smack him across the face, which I find so funny to think that, like, everybody misinterprets his art. We have a new art teacher that I swear I've not seen before. He looks like a neon white coconut head. Like, what? Everybody is offended by Ned's drawing, and he does not know what to do. Literally, the principal corners him at the school and is like, what are you gonna do about this? The art teacher actually has an auction for Ned, trying to sell it for millions of dollars. So Ned actually like commits to this idea he's an artist and tries to like make it authentic to him, but it really doesn't work.
Oh, so close. Well, not really. Who are we kidding, right? If only you were famous.
Meanwhile, Cookie is turning this into a full business where he has a bunch of kids do his art projects. They're like 6th graders, and then dresses them up to do the project. After the child labor, I already find this questionable, but then he puts on a red robe, and then suddenly it looks like he's doing like a Santa Claus cult. How in the world would something end up like this?
That is what art does. Artists must suffer for the art. That's why they call it pain.
Over time, Ned gets more and more ashamed, literally hiding himself, because being an artist is complicated, guys, trust me. With a few pointers from the teacher, Ned realizes he can attack this from like another point of view. So they end up having an auction where they try to sell the painting and use all the money for the art program. Okay, they keep talking about how they're going to shut down the arts because of Ned's mistake, and that is so relevant. I definitely think a school would do something like that. This really rich woman with a little dog in her hand is the one who spends all the money, which is also pretty accurate. But yeah, the tips at the end of the episode are really cute. It's like, wear smocks and hats and wear your art. Okay, not a painter, ask about other art projects. Make an art class, homemade gift class, which is like just making it productive, which I also agree, that's a good idea. Okay. In the end, Ned did not win, and I like that. I like that it's like kind of a failure on his end. Then we go to the next half of this episode is called Lost and Found, and this is actually kind of really random. I did not expect him to make an episode called Lost and Found. So it's basically Ned finds these really expensive athletic shoes and wants to take them, but obviously they're in Lost and Found. They belong to somebody else. Krubs is like the big monitor of the Lost and Found suddenly.
Nice try, Bigby. All of these items stay in the Lost and Found until Friday, which is today, until 3 p.m., which is in 6 hours from now. Only at that time will any unclaimed items become available to Vulch.
And Moze has this, like, ethic complex where she's like, I can't let you take somebody else's items from the Lost and Found because I lost my dog years ago. Cookie kind of has a good idea to, like, combat this, though. He's like, you should just find Moze's old dog and she won't even care about monitoring you anymore. Okay.
This is not my puppy bear. You bought this online and power sanded its face.
I did not.
Observe!
Meanwhile, Cookie realizes that he can't find his MP3 player, and that has a really embarrassing song called Cowboy Cookie on it, which I remember thinking this joke was hilarious.
Cowboy Cookie, the bullies, they don't scare him. Cowboy Cookie, yippee, yippee, ow!
So Cookie is on the look for his MP3. Ned is trying to stall however it takes to make sure that he could get to the shoes on time, and Moze is keeping an eye out. She doesn't really buy it when Ned gives her the stuffed animal of the little doggy. So, yeah, she's not going to be fooled, guys. He ends up locking both him and Moze outside, so that way she can't stop him from finding its original owner.
But you're here too, so you won't be able to claim the sneakers!
And then next thing you know, they find the secret trap door of all the lost items. It turns out Krubs has been hoarding it all this time, which is really creepy. A dark psychological issue must be going on with Krubs. This is insane to think about.
Hey, you found my secret lair.
And we found this, and this.
My music player, I'm safe.
These are mine.
But yeah, Ned ends up being the one to have the shoes until Seth comes in and says that they're his shoes, which is actually not that crazy. I can't believe they didn't think of that first. Ned does the bigger thing and gives them back to Seth. The end. Okay, weird that we had an episode about a lost and found system, but I'm not against it after all I saw.
So how long do you guys think I need to stay in disguise?
Cowboy Cookie, yippee, yippee, yeehaw!
The only tip, though, is chain it and you won't lose it, which, okay, but you can't even chain money, something that is, like, important to hold on to. Okay, the next episode we have is social studies. Okay, it's a topic that we haven't seen yet. That's good. So it seems like there is a project where the best team will win a trip to Washington. Okay, that sounds exciting. So everybody pairs up. Cookie wants to work with Lisa because it would be like a romantic getaway. But Moze wants to pair up with Ned. Unfortunately, he's spending all of his time with Susie, which, by the way, Moze, I think if you want to win, teaming up with Ned is not the best idea. Not only does he not have good grades, but he's also got a really poor work ethic and distracted by his girlfriend, as you'll see multiple times in this episode. Oh, okay, whatever.
Are you jealous?
I'm not jealous.
Okay.
But this is a very clear indicator of their relationship. Moze becomes like super annoyed that Ned is ignoring her for Susie. Of course, it's like, why did he have to be the one on the project? Cookie asks her if he's jealous, making her a little insecure.
Evelyn and I are gonna win the social studies trip, which means I'll have to spend the whole weekend with her. Can you imagine?
And he is paired off with Evelyn. Oh no, okay. Meanwhile, Evelyn and Cookie are gonna make a model of a city, which Cookie purposely breaks. Oh my god, Cookie is not a good partner. Eventually, he even burns down the next model and Evelyn quits. So he'd rather fail than work with her, which is really complicated considering they shared a kiss earlier. Things get way too far when Ned reveals that he's gonna go to Susie's house for dinner, despite the fact it's him and Moze's hangout day. Oh my gosh, come on, Moze. She could push this aside just for this. I can't believe it. She's seeming so jealous at this point. And meanwhile, this is a funny side plot. The Pal principal is insistent that he is still the principal, which is crazy because he must have like amnesia or something.
Ned, no running in the hall.
Sorry, and shouldn't all of this be in your principal's office?
Yes, but Pal sort of thinks he's still principal.
Because he does not remember leaving, and Mr. Wright has to continuously break the news to him. Kind of feel bad about him. He literally even, like, acts as if he is still the principal a couple times, just to, like, get closure. And eventually Mr. Pal is like, oh, that was a test on you, actually. And Mr. Wright is like, what the heck? Which I would be too. Why would that have happened? The resolution for Ned's plot line is that he tells Susie we're gonna have to do another night, and decides to hang out with Moze, which, not the right solution to that problem, but okay, guys.
So she took it well.
Oh, yeah.
Then the next episode is kind of a bold one. It's called Embarrassment, and of course it's like about the social issue. The entire cold open is 30 seconds, and it's just Ned farting, which I do not remember at all. That is a crazy decision. Then we're introduced to Moze's love interest, Feynman. Ooh, now this is about to come up a lot. So he's a foreign exchange student, and Moze is really interested in him, with pretty much making a fool of herself every time she tries to talk to him. Then Cookie gets determined not to let himself be pantsed, and all of them are basically dealing with embarrassment and how to overcome it or not really worry about what the other people are thinking, which is super relevant to a middle school experience, for me at least.
Everyone can play, and whoever pants is cooked the most by the end of the day is king of the pants!
Timmy Toot Toot comes back, which is this weird side character who had a whole farting complex, I guess, and he's actually thinking Ned is challenging him for his embarrassing outburst in class, which, oh my god, how embarrassing. So he starts to try to fight Ned. What? Susie is really embarrassed around Ned and is even like not sitting with him in class anymore. This is insane. I can't believe Susie is going this far to like not associate with him. He even is the topic of conversation when Susie is like, is Ned gross? And it's like, wow, she's really taking this seriously. A lot of fun in this episode. Cookie tries to like avoid getting his pants pulled down, but they somehow find a way in a bunch of different scenarios. I don't know, that's really funny to me. And then in the end, Susie accidentally farts in the middle of class, and Missy calls her on it, but Ned ends up covering for her, which I guess is sweet.
It wasn't Susie. It was me. I am Spartacus.
He calls himself Farticus, which is a reference to everybody admitting when somebody else has like done something wrong and being like, I am Spartacus. But yeah, the tips in this one are interesting because it's don't overheat those fart starters. Okay, and know what you're gonna say before you say it. Fair enough. And try wearing a belt to avoid low-fitting pants. Oh, okay, yeah, I guess don't be vulnerable to getting pantsed. Okay, victim blaming. And Cookie just realizes that embarrassment is what makes us human, so let Loomer keep pantsing you. Oh, okay. Next, I'm excited because we have an episode called The Bus, which I didn't expect him to do at this age, and it's like completely taking place on the bus and their hometowns, which is so rare for Ned's Declassified. I feel like they're always within the school, but it's cool because it's the last season. Like, we gotta go out of our way like this. Everybody has a goal to maintain, but the bus is the thing that gets in the way for everybody. Like, Moze wants to get a seat on the bus with Feynman. And at the same time, Ned wrote a letter to Susie that he wants to get back because he accidentally confessed he loved her, which is, whoa, that's crazy, Ned. But hey, he's a Pisces, that's how it'll be.
And if she were here, what would she want you to do?
Probably to stop calling her.
No! She'd want you to get these kids to school on time and before Susie gets there.
Yep.
And Cookie just never was tardy, so he wants to keep his reputation, which is actually kind of real. I do remember friends that, like, have pride in going to school every day. Kind of random, but okay.
I'll catch him at the third stop.
Mom, we need to ride to school.
Mr. Quest is the bus driver. We see him very rarely, but we saw him in an episode before this, like Dismissal, when they were on the bus. That was cool. But he just had a breakup, and he's super depressed, doesn't feel like driving the bus.
I'm so alone. I can't go on. I can't drive the bus today.
Which, I can't believe that this man is doing that. It's definitely the perfect entrance for some conflict here. So Moze and Ned do get on the bus, but Moze deals with her own problems, like accidentally getting pulled into a seat with Martin Quirrelly and not being able to see Feynman. Oh gosh, that's hard. Meanwhile, Ned is trying to give a pep talk to the bus driver. I don't know why the bus driver would rely on this kid to, like, give him a pep talk. Professor Xavier, the science teacher, ends up showing to Cookie's rescue, and the two go off on an adventure to get to school in time, which I think is hilarious.
Hop up! I get you there! We ride on the wind like Ukrainian geese!
They, for some reason, stop for a thrift sale. Like, why in the world would you guys do that? It's funny, though, because they have, like, a little montage of them hanging out. It's fun to see a student and teacher bond like this. So Mr. Quest drives the bus super fast, and Moze falls into the seat with Feynman. So that plot's solved, I guess.
Hey, Feynman. It's great sitting with you today.
Cookie gets to school in time, and the only one who loses for real is Ned, who took Susie's homework, not the love letter, and that's where the episode ends. Kinda controversial. I wonder what's gonna happen. Yeah, the tips in this are a lot, actually. We have use bus time for forgotten homework time. Also, I agree, that's relevant. Look before you sleep, because, yeah, you will fall asleep on the bus. I definitely have before. And use the shift to protect your seat, which is like just shifting your seat and... Oh, okay, I'm not going to translate that. Then use the seat hop method to move around the bus. Okay, that's a safety issue, but sure.
This is unexpected, but okay. I'll give you another chance.
We have fun in the second part of this episode, too, because it's Guide to Bad Hair Days, another thing that seems like irrelevant, but hey, they're getting creative with these ideas.
It's not a school subject, but it's a major school topic.
Ned and Moze are both having horrible hair days. Like, Moze is trying on a bunch of different looks to try to attract Feynman, because I guess that's her adventure. Ned has $20 and is trying to get a haircut for free nearby, but it would cause him to ditch school, which is an interesting goal for him to have.
Word in the hall is you're gonna bust out of here for a free haircut. We want it.
I want it off, man. I want it all off.
Him and Coconut Head make this attempt because it requires them to go to the high school, which is cool because we never see the high school. We only, like, talk about it every now and then, but the fact it comes up in this episode is also cool. Ned's super excited to go on a date with Susie later. I guess we're gonna forget about this whole love thing.
Forgive me! Save yourself!
Ned ends up getting a horrible haircut, which I did not expect to happen. And so it's more so about him covering it up. It's like this giant chunk of hair out of the back of his head. I don't know how he didn't notice this was not going to be a good haircut. And yeah, all the high schoolers are very threatening toward him. They even steal his money. Okay. It's cute to see Ned team up with characters he never would have before, like Crony and Coconut Head, which, by the way, I didn't know this guy's name was Crony. It makes sense. Feynman keeps not enjoying any of Moze's haircuts, which, like, have a escalating reaction to you constantly asking for this man's opinion on her hair. Like, they're not dating.
Jennifer, is there a problem here? He says he doesn't like my hair, but I have tried every hairstyle known to man. He
has hair issues.
Of course, Cookie is trying to get Lisa's attention, and Krubs, who, like, suspects Ned of leaving the school, ends up tackling Cookie, who's dressed in all black, to make it seem like he was trying to escape. In the end, Krubs did find out that Ned ditched school because of the cameras, and he gets detention. Meanwhile, Susie goes to hang out with Cookie and Moze alone. Oh my gosh, that would break my heart. Guys, come on, don't hang out without me. You gotta admit, though, when the shop teacher ends up giving Ned the haircut, and it's like this beautiful montage, I don't know why, that's just like my favorite part of this episode.
It looks great!
Please give me the insight on how they managed to add hair to him. Like, haircuts are supposed to subtract, not add. Interesting end to an episode. I feel like watching Cookie vie so hard for Lisa's approval is funny, knowing that, like, he just barely grew any hair and then suddenly it's ripped off now. Like, what a hair day concept. Like, why is that even a thing? The tips for this are, for guys, hats hide grease, grime, and fleas. Oh, fleas. And for girls, scrunchies and clips can tame the wildest mane. Okay, this is actually pretty accurate. I have had some bad hair days at my school, so yeah, maybe this is worth talking about. Okay, so this Ned's Declassified is about revenge. Wow, that was actually really dark. I feel like there's some school subjects we haven't done yet, and now we're doing an entire, like, episode on revenge? It starts really out of character with a narrator and a sneak preview of what's to come, which is crazy for an 11-minute episode.
Cookie being chased! Mystery girl! Ned upside down?
Here's a little story about revenge.
So they do that thing again where all three main characters are going through something very specific in this revenge situation, with each character claiming that they are better than revenge and they wouldn't do it. Actually, no, Ned's pretty proud that he wants to get it. Billy Loomer has wronged him so many times, which makes sense, he is the school bully, and Ned pulls revenge on him by, like, breaking his chair in the middle of class. Oh, okay, I think that's fair. It's a very ethical dilemma in this episode, because Ned takes on this whole persona. Basically, other people start asking Ned to help get revenge on people that have wronged them, and then suddenly Ned is harassing everybody in Polk Middle School. Yeah, like,
I know it's goofy, but Missy got what she deserved.
he just starts beating up people for different reasons. He's a glorified bully in this episode, and even though he looks really cool, it's like a little comic book like Revenger hero I don't know, it's cool, but people get upset pretty fast, as you could imagine, because then he's getting revenge and suddenly everybody else has a vendetta against Ned. I don't think he really thought this one through. Oh, but you know what? This is the pose he does in the theme song, so that's all that makes up for it. Corbin Blue's back? I can't believe Corbin Blue had made more than one appearance on Ned's Declassified as like a casual role, when really he should be doing High School Musical, bro. Go back to work! Meanwhile, Cookie and Evelyn are in a weird spot in their relationship. There's like a pop quiz going on, but it's not really about the pop quiz. Evelyn is essentially looking out for Cookie 1 second, kissing him on the cheek, and then another second screaming at him. So he's getting some mixed signals. And if I were Cookie, I would also be rightfully confused.
I don't get it. 1 minute she kisses me, and then she tricks me.
Ugh, this is what love is.
For treating him so confusingly, I guess Cookie thinks he should be getting revenge, so he ends up pranking Evelyn, but it's sad because obviously she admits she has feelings for him, and oh, awkward moment. She gets water balloons on her. Oh my gosh, their relationship is insane when you think about it.
I learned something today too. Revenge is bad. And you like me, remember?
Like, at first I was like, oh, it's like Josh and Mindy, but Josh and Mindy didn't attack each other during the school day. Meanwhile, Moze's whole subplot is about revenge as well. Basically, this girl from the other volleyball team is on their team, planning on, like, sabotaging them, but she didn't think it through well enough. Oh my god, that's so funny. By the end, basically, Moze points out to her that, like, she's sabotaging her own team by coming to Polk Middle School and playing for their team. Like, that's crazy. Why is she even doing that? Yeah, this is a fun episode. I feel like the gimmick of Ned being the Revenger is actually really funny, and everybody turning on him by the end, kind of sad, actually.
No more rope traps, tape webs, wet pants. Most importantly, no more the Revenger.
Then we get the school records episode. Oof, gosh, if I had to remember school records, it feels like our reputation was always on the line. Like, if you made one mistake, it would follow you for the rest of your life. And honestly, it's kind of true. That definitely does happen still for adults nowadays. So Ned is being told that he has a really bad record in the eyes of the school board, which isn't super surprising because he's done bowling in the hallways, he's set tables to collapse, which, yeah, we just saw the Revenger episode where he actually bullied like 20 different kids.
What did I do that was so bad?
Let's see. Misuse of cans for the canned food drive. 10 instances of the Ned Bigby classic, The Collapsing Tape. And who can forget what brought you here today?
There we have it, everybody. I think Ned is the real bully in this whole show. The moral of the story is also the tip is that when you do good things can happen, which kind of reminds me of the premise of the TV show My Name is Earl. Not sure if you heard about that, but it's like all about karma. The main character does something wrong, so he spends his life trying to make it better. It's a really cute show, and it's funny that Ned is like playing that as a trope and having Ned undo all his like past issues. And yeah, Cookie's involvement is kind of crazy, and by the end of the episode, you kind of hate Vice Principal Krubbs a little bit more because it turns out he doesn't get rid of his permanent record. It does follow Ned to high school, and he's just like, oh, I'm accepting that. Yeah, it doesn't feel like a win on Ned's end, but he's happy, so I guess that's enough. The next episode is called Guide to the Library, and it is reaffirmed my concern with how much they fit into one episode of this show. Like, these retrospectives feel like they are for a 20-minute episode, although these Ned's episodes are done in 11 minutes. It's crazy, but they have like 20 locations, like the plots go super quick. It feels like their content is the amount of a full TV show. It is stressful to report on this because it's like, this means I have 40 episodes instead of 20. I'm not going to concern you guys all with this, but it is crazy how much Ned's happens in a single episode of Ned's.
And Bigby, you owe me the Total Wimp's Guide to Kung Fu, volumes 1, 2, and 3. The books kids take out really says something about them.
When we're talking about Guide to the Library, that's exactly what I get from the experience also. So it's introducing a new location, the library, as we all had in middle school, a new character, the librarian, and we kind of get into the whole character of it all, where basically Cookie and Ned have suffered a late fee, haven't turned in their books, and the librarian is essentially really aggressive about it with a accordion. So Ned and Cookie swear that they did not forget to turn their books in. Like, this is not an issue. So it becomes this whole, like, murder mystery, I swear. They're tracing exactly what happened to their books, and it gets traced back to Loomer, and there's, like, a whole political system of it all.
I suppose you don't know where they are, but I bet you do.
No, but for a small fee, I'm sure we can find your wimpy kung fu books.
Gordy gets a hold of all of this, the janitor. He helps Ned and Cookie, and they get into disguises, ready to pull the information out of Billy Loomer, because apparently he's the one in charge of this whole heist. So yeah, dressed as like a matador, a bear, and I don't know what Ned is supposed to be. They trace everything back to Billy Loomer, and it's crazy because it's like now 2 adults are involved. The librarian, Gordy, like, are we gonna do something for real about all this?
Of course he's smart. He's been in the library every day for the past 2 weeks, reading like a crazy person.
They corner Billy in the art room, and only to find out that, yes, this was him, and he's, like, not caught, technically. Like, I don't know, the fact that Billy's, like, not actually saying it's his fault, but everybody's accusing him, oh, that's crazy to me. What a dramatic episode. See how I was, like, saying, like, there's so much that happens in these episodes sometimes? Like, then everybody's looking throughout the school to find the books, to find proof as to how Billy possibly have pulled this off. So that's still the mystery going on. Meanwhile, Moze's part's not as fun. She basically wants to borrow a book and a little girl's already reading it, so she's trying to coerce her into giving it back. It's kind of intense when you think about it. She's like befriending the kid only to intentionally leave her when this is done. And there's like a little heartfelt moment where like that's what the girl realizes is happening, and nobody is better at the end of that episode, I guess. By the end, it turns out that the library information is what solves the crime. They end up following the Dewey Decimal System, right? Because that's what the code is. And they find the books exactly where they were lost, exactly where Billy hid them, and he gets in trouble. The end. The tips in this are: don't wait to go to the library. Okay, yeah, sure. Can't find a book? Find out who has it. Yes, that is also information, I guess. And then discover new things and make new friends in the library. Okay, now it just feels like a chore list. So that's the first part. Then we have the second part, which is the volunteering episode. Mr. Wright reminds the school that they need all their volunteer hours. Like Ned, Cookie, and Moze have been using their volunteer hours to play broomball with Gordy. So they're not actually doing their work. Oh my god, they're trying to con their whole school system. That is kind of crazy.
And game over.
Once Mr. Wright realizes that they were taking advantage of the system, he expects 10 hours from each of them by tomorrow. Oh my god, that's half the day. Can you imagine? How would you explain that to your parents? Ugh, can you imagine? Oh, I don't know though. Fortunately for Cookie, Evelyn also volunteers at the school store. So both of them will be working together. Oh my gosh, what is their relationship? So they use extra hands, which is bringing back Moze, Loomer, and all of his goons, basically to team up and do all these volunteer hours. Oh my gosh, that's so crazy to think that, like, they're all on the same level when it comes to, like, disrespecting the educational system. Moze tells Loomer and his cronies to paint the wall, and she's gonna go to gardening club, but then they start a paint war. Oh my gosh, nobody's getting anything done. Meanwhile, Ned is actually going to a nursing home with some woman named June. Evelyn's scaring away all the customers with her attitude, and Cookie thinks he can do better, so he opens his own store to compete with Evelyn, and of course, these guys have to have it out for each other everywhere they go.
I'll have you know, I'm the school store's #1 seller.
That's because nobody else ever worked here.
When Moze returns, are covered in paint, and it seems like they're good for nothing. They didn't even get the job done. Meanwhile, Ned convinces June to go for a walk. Ned takes her out anyway just to have fun, and they bond. Oh, that's sweet. Ned takes her to a dodgeball game at the school, to the cafeteria for lunch. Oh my gosh, such a crazy episode. Moze and Loomer finally finish the wall. I think that's when Loomer starts to care about her because, you know, like, that's supposed to happen by the end of the season. I think Loomer and Moze might get together, but hey, put a pin in it. Keep an eye out. And yeah, so Mr. Wright and the orderly from the nursing home find Ned and June, and basically everybody gets off scot-free because they did the 10 hours, which, how did they do the 10 hours? I don't understand. There's no way with just the school-given time they could have done that. Okay, whatever. The tips of this episode were: get your friends to pitch in. It'll be more fun to volunteer, okay? And then a few hours can make a big difference. Okay, yes, those are definitely lessons.
Quit your yammering and give me a good shove.
Wow, Ned's Declassified is getting intense. I'm just thinking about Cookie and Evelyn's relationship, and Moze and her relationship, Ned and Susie. Like, a lot of stuff is gonna have to go down by the end of this season. I'm gonna keep an eye out. Now, these seem like the most continuity-driven episodes, which is actually really fun to dive into, especially with my position right here. So the first part is hallways, and it feels like a stereotypical episode where a kid is given the ability to be the hall monitor. Like, for example, Ned is the hall monitor. Now he has the power to actually get anybody in trouble, including Billy Loomer, of course. His power to let, like, Moze talk to Feynman. Yeah, Feynman and Moze are together, okay. So there's a part where Cookie ends up getting trampled on the way to class and then has to come up with an idea for a hallway traffic segment, like the one on the news, and it's really funny.
And now, here's your Pope Hallway traffic update.
This is the hallway traffic man, Simon Nelson Cookie, reporting at star 55 on your cell phones.
So Mike crashes into Ned in the hallway and gets on his back about being in the way. And then they make Mike apologize. Okay, so now Ned has a bunch of groupies that he could have at his whim. Wow, Ned is crazy with power this season, guys. I don't know how to get over it. So Seth gives Ned basketball tickets for not getting him in trouble, and then he starts getting other things from people, and oh my gosh, this is insane. Moze gets trampled by the reverse commute on her way to see Feynman, and we get a little bit of advice about the reverse commute. And she doesn't really get to her locker on time, so Ned is playing hockey in the hallway, and mad with power. Meanwhile, Moze is trying to get Feynman quicker by going through the air vents and bypassing the hallway entirely, but winds up in the main office and gets busted by Krubs. So Ned is trying to enforce the hallway rules, but nobody's actually taking him seriously. They even end up throwing a party? Oh my gosh. Moze has Cookie send out a fake traffic report so that he'll clear the halls for Moze to get to Feynman. And oh my gosh, it's so crazy how much power these kids have in this show. I can't believe how smart they are. The crowd of students crashes the hallway party, and Moze gets to Feynman's locker on time, great. But Sweeney comes back, sees him in the hallway, and he admits to Krubs that he put Ned in charge so he could go home and watch DVDs. Oh my gosh. Krubs puts Ned and Sweeney on hallway duty. Okay, crazy turnaround with the teacher here. So the tips were to be aware of the reverse commute and find alternative routes if you have a reverse commute. What the heck? Oh, then the next episode we have is called Friends Moving, which is really depressing to hear. After Ned's brief stunt as a hall monitor, he carries a pillow around and softens the blow whenever he gets crashed to in the halls. Moze is happy that Feynman's English is getting better, but then he says he's going to be moving back to Brazil. Ned suggests that Feynman
stay. Talk to Feynman and find out why he's moving. That's the first step.
Ned suggests to ask Feynman why he's moving. Feynman tells Moze he doesn't know why his parents want him, but they're just gonna come at 11 to talk to him and Krubs and get him taken out of school. Oh my gosh. So Ned and Moze work together to figure out what's going on in that meeting. Lisa tells Cookie she's so sad he's moving. Oh my gosh, wait, what? Oh my gosh. Okay, so Evelyn tries to go out with Cookie, but Cookie's like, no, I can't, I'm moving.
But I can't go out with you. I'd love to, but I can't.
Why not?
Because I'm moving.
And then Lisa believes that's actually happening. And of course, Cookie doesn't tell her because he likes all the free time with her, so they start hanging out more often. Oh my gosh, Cookie is a player.
Let's skip math today and have big Hawaiian send-off party for Simon.
But if you insist.
When Feynman's parents arrive, Moze gets random people to say hi to Feynman, making it seem like he has a lot of friends there. So Ned lures Krubs out of the office so Gordy could sit there and pose as Krubs and actually convince Feynman's parents to let him stay. Oh, that's very sweet that they got Gordy to do that. Cookie goes to Ned for help about his lie about him moving away, and Ned tells him to tell them that his dad decided not to take the job. But then Cookie can't do it.
Let's dance!
And Gordy actually convinces Feynman's parents to let him stay, until Krubs comes back and catches them. Meanwhile, Evelyn crashes the party and reveals to everybody that Cookie isn't moving, and Cookie tries to backtrack and say that his dad turned down the job in Hawaii, but there's no job. He's trapped, which is so funny. It's like he's enjoying himself so hard and then just told the truth. Krubs explains to Feynman's parents that Feynman isn't depressed, he's in love. Oh, Krubs says that taking Feynman out of school would make him sad for real. Whoa, that's dark. And as well as Moze. Feynman's parents meet Moze and they approve and decide to keep Feynman at Polk, which is actually really sweet. Unfortunately, there's gonna be a big bully coming in the way, Ned Bigby. No, just kidding. Or am I guess? Now, everybody hates Cookie for lying, but Evelyn repeats that the friendship ring from earlier, he's her friend now. I guess that's a really sweet moment.
I'm moving.
Is this because of the pillow? Take it. Throw it away. The pillow's dead.
Not out of our locker. Out of the state.
Susie breaks the news to Ned that she's going to be moving out of state so that she and the rest of her family can be closer to her dad. Plot twist. Oh my god, I actually forgot that this ended at the end of an episode. What the heck? Okay, this is a good time to end the video. So yeah, we had a good run for the first half of the 3rd season of Ned's Declassified. I can't believe how juicy things are getting. It's kind of scaring me because I don't remember all these details. But this is crazy. I'm scared. Yeah, Ned is definitely a bigger jerk than I realized, but it's not in poor taste. You know, he's not like intentionally bad all the time, but hey, he's not good. So before we get into all the Ned and Moze stuff, which is probably going to be a lot more prominent in the second half, I guess I'm curious what everybody thinks of this first part. Like, is this how you remembered everything going down? Do you remember all the moving and, like, plot twists of the 3rd season of Ned's Declassified? Because rewatching the finale recently definitely opened my eyes to a lot of this stuff, and I didn't realize how much was really building to it. But yeah, if anybody noticed this, please let me know below. And until next time, this is Johnny 2000. Have a great day.